This episode is Airbnb horror stories. Last night I went down the rabbit hole, and most of them are from the point of view of the host, you know, terrible guests. Good afternoon, Kathy. Thanks so much for doing this. This one is from the other point of view, right? You as a guest. Can you talk a little bit about your story, what you experienced?
So we had sold our house and we were getting into a rental, and we were just gonna get an Airbnb for a few days just to bridge the gap. And so I rented this Airbnb that was in town, and so the check-in Airbnb is 4 o'clock. We show up at 4 o'clock. We can't get it. There's a lady there. She's telling me she can't get her cat out from under her bed. I expected it to be cleaned and empty when I got there, but at least clean. Like, if there's a cat under the bed, how clean?
Under the part you're staying in, there's a cat under the bed?
Yeah. Oh. No, the whole house, yeah. So she couldn't get her, she's very flustered. She can't get her cat out of the bed, or out from under the bed. That took her about an hour and a half of us sitting there waiting.
You guys were all sitting on the couch?
No, we weren't even inside. She wouldn't let us inside. Wow. So we were in the car. I had all my kids with me. I didn't know how long it was going to take, so we just sat there. I was calling Airbnb after about like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. They weren't very helpful. And then finally she got her cat out, and we went in there. And it had kind of a smell of cat, which I expected since the cat was there. It was a little bit more pungent than I would have imagined someplace you're renting to be. So I opened a few windows. I already had the kids with me. I have 4 kids, as you know. So we were there, and my husband shows up, and we're just trying to like settle down from the kind of like frazzled moment. We had,
because you're already moving, so
yeah, we're already moving, so we're already having like
stressful times in someone's life.
We had already just moved out of our house like that day, in the morning, and then showed up to the Airbnb. Now we're late. We're waiting. We're in the car. We showed up after 4, so it was supposed to be ready at 4. We showed up after 4, then it's taking like an hour and a half, and there's kind of a smell in there, but we're just kind of frazzled. We got nowhere else to go. And just through the course of that night or that evening, I think we went out to dinner. I think we went and got food and then came back. And later on, like, the kids were upstairs in one of the rooms, and there's a main floor, and I guess there's a downstairs. There was these stairs that were blocked off by a gate. And we didn't notice that evening, but so we were just kind of down there and talking like, this is kind of, I wonder what this is down here, but we didn't really, it was just blocked off, so it said, please don't come down here. So we were just like, okay, whatever. We had the rest of the house. There was plenty of rooms. The next day, the kids are playing around the house, and I'm in the kitchen, and that's kind of where those stairs are, just off by the laundry room. And I'm looking at the wall, and there's like smeared stuff, and I get a little closer to it, and you can like I said, there's kind of the smell in the house. So there's smeared feces on the wall. Like, now that, because there's like a light, so I turn on the light and I'm looking, and there's like smeared feces on the wall. So I call Airbnb. I'm just kind of getting the runaround, like they're telling me to call the management company. I call the management company, and they're just like, oh, that's crazy, that's terrible. I mean, and this is already after dealing with the fact that, like, hey, there's a lady, there was the cat under there. Nobody's offering us anything. Finally, the management's like, oh, we'll just give you one night. I think we had like
I read somewhere that you have to actually talk to the host and try to work out the host in that situation.
Yes, and so they had a management company, and the actual person whose home it was, who was there, she was not in charge of the management company. The management company's like, well, we'll refund you for one night. And I think we had stayed there, or I think we had booked it for 4 or 5 nights. And at that point, I was pretty sick of talking to people, so I was just like, whatever. Let's just wait till we get out of here. I think, and we stayed there. I can't remember if we stayed the full time. I don't think we stayed the full time. I think we left a little bit early, but yeah. So that's kind of. Wow. I mean, the feces, and so this is another thing. So I found the feces on there, and the stairs looked kind of stained, but I had. I was just like, what is down here? Like, is it worse? Like, how bad could it be? And so I just like went and took a peek down there, and it was like big construction down there, like they were just redoing it, but there was like kind of feces all the way down. I don't understand how it gets smeared on the wall.
Yeah,
I don't.
Let's not go there.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But there were definitely stains like all the way down.
So from the research I've done on Airbnb's refund policies, it's pretty much to Airbnb as to if whether or not a guest gets a refund and how much of a refund they got. So it sounds to me like you only got one night out of 5. Did you guys argue with that? Or?
So that was from the management company, and then I want to say I don't remember how much later. I do think that we contacted Airbnb regarding that, and they were not very helpful at all.
Well, I have my own Airbnb story. I rented one for my lawyer who came from out of state to try our UPS case, and online it looked great. He likes the trees and the greenery because he's from a desert area. And this place had a creek and a wonderful viewing deck. When we got there, it was nothing like the pictures. And he said that seemed like the family was practicing clog dancing every night upstairs. So really not happy with it, but whatever, he stayed there. The problem is he inadvertently took the key with him when he went back home. And so the host contacted me and said, bring the key back. And I'm like, oh shoot, well, can I just pay you to make a new key? And I preemptively sent her $25. Well, that wasn't good enough, of course. She demanded $150. And when I said, why $150 for a key? And she said, oh, I have to change the locks now. What? Well, wait a minute. If that's what you're worried about, any renter could make a copy of your key. So do you have to change the locks every single time you rent the place? And she really didn't have an explanation for that. She just kept demanding the $150. And I said, no, I paid you $25. That's fair. I'm done with this. And she said, okay, now I'm going to report you to Airbnb. And now she demanded $200. And she opened up.
I don't understand how you can just up.
Yeah. And then opened a claim with Airbnb, and they took her side. And then Airbnb came back with their email saying, oh, we're going to find in the host's favor on this one.
Yeah, I've heard that Airbnb takes their side because that's their business.
So this is the one and only time I will ever use an Airbnb. So I canceled my account. And I'm
never using them again.
You're never going to use
it? It's just not worth it. I don't. I mean, I have a lot of kids, so that's why we wanted to use Airbnb. I used them before. I've never really loved them because you don't know how clean the place is when you get there. I mean, they just have like bed linens, and then they ask you to clean everything, and they charge you for it.
Oh yeah. Talk about that. That's
the cleaning. Yeah. So anytime you rent an Airbnb, from what I understand, but all of them, even if it's like on Vrbo or whatever the vacation, they ask you, they include a cleaning fee. And since COVID, I don't know about before COVID, but since COVID, it's been like $150, $200.
Wow.
I mean, a hotel, it just comes with it. They come clean your room. They make sure all the linens are clean. I mean, hopefully before you get there. They ask you to put everything in the laundry. I mean, I've not stayed at one that hasn't asked me to put the linens in the laundry, that hasn't asked me to to clean the dishes and take out the trash. Okay, fine. I mean, I'm not going to be a slob, but you're kind of asking me, why are you charging me
a cleaning fee
and wipe down everything? Like there's they'll have like a list of stuff they want you to do.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is the same thing, and I'm like, really? You want me to take all of them? And I think I still did it, even so.
So you don't think you'll ever use Airbnb again, huh?
I mean, no.
Yeah.
No, it's just not reliable. I'd rather stay in a hotel where I know what I'm getting,
Yeah, that's exactly the conclusion I came to after this experience. And I didn't even stay there. I was like, nope. Yeah. It's too much of a risk.
I also think like the Airbnb that we stayed at, this particular one, was in a neighborhood, just like on a cul-de-sac. I just feel like you don't ever know who's going to stay there. I mean, it must be really stressful for the neighbors to have just random people staying there. I would think.
Yep, Airbnb, I think your days might be numbered.
I know, I wouldn't want an Airbnb next to me if I owned it.
There's laws getting passed all over the country, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And we're going to post this on our Keep Companies Honest. So, I think the point of this is Airbnb, you need to look at your return policy, your refund policies. And I noticed online that they actually have done a deep dive recently on that. So there must be a lot of these complaints coming up.
I'm sure there is. I mean, I've talked to other people who've had similar stories where the rental was just not at all what they thought it was going to be.
You can understand they want to protect the renters because that's the source of their income, the hosts, but you can't ignore the other side of that equation, or you're going to have a lot of people who are going to tell these stories, and then you're not going to get them. Well, thank you, Kathy, for doing this. Hey, and audience, if you like these stories, please like and subscribe so that we can make more of them.